friend Alice, the last name in Wonderland. Yes. I think that's her last name, along with the White Rabbit and also the Queen of Hearts. I used to date someone who looked just like you. Yes, indeed. Now, Alice, if you're going to pick someone to play the Cheshire Cat and the White Queen, if you're going to pick human beings, who might you pick to play them in real life?
Paula and Harry.
See that? She's been cued very well. He has to go off someplace?
Oh, I think we have to go to tea now.
All right, we'll say goodbye to Paul and Harry. Bye.
Bye.
Queen's waving as well.
I'm ready.
Bye. I don't know whether we're such
Very
great
nice.
choices for that. Mark McEwen.
Perfect models, as a matter of fact.
Magic Kingdom. Out
Very
at
nice.
Disney World, having a good time. Boy, how many times has he been there?
10.
10 times. And it still seems new and fresh to him. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to CBS This Morning. I'm Paula Zahn.
And I'm Harry Smith. Good morning, everybody.
In a couple of minutes, we're going to be welcoming a very special guest. Last July, during the Moscow Summit, I got to be the guest on the Soviet morning talk show called Morning. My host was their anchor, Sergei Goryachev. Well, right after the news and weather, he'll be here to visit with us. He has 70 million viewers, and that show is seen in 10 different time zones.
Can they still sell advertising on it, though? That's the thing.
Yeah, they can. Now they're going to start at least.
Also coming up this morning, if you can't judge a book by its cover, you certainly can't tell a cereal by the box it comes in. See this stuff right here?
Yeah, I do.
Do you know what's in here? We're going to show you quite explicitly what's in a box of this stuff.
Besides cereal. I
well,
mean, like what's in the cereal?
Exactly.
Like bad
this
stuff.
may be the only stuff that your kids will eat. You may have a second thought or two about it after we show you what's inside, because Audrey Cross, our nutrition expert who visits us so often, is going to be along to tell us how to find good cereals for your kids.
And what was in your cereal this morning, here?
Oh,
I had a morning like that
suppose.
one morning, and I got a letter from a man who suggested that it was the brandy that I put on top of my cornflakes that was giving me a little bit of a problem. I'm not suggesting that's the case this morning, but
Special toothpaste.
it's Monday morning. Now it's time for the news this morning. Gunshots have been heard outside the home of Haitian President Jean-Baptiste Aristide, and there are reports of an attempted coup. The director of Haiti State Radio was arrested by men in uniform during the night after he announced that a coup might be underway. The U.S. Embassy in Port-au-Prince says that does not appear to be the case, at least not now. But the embassy does confirm that there was sporadic gunfire during the night. In El Salvador, 2 soldiers have been convicted in the 1989 massacre in which 6 Jesuit priests, a housekeeper, and her daughter were murdered. U.S. officials call the verdict a breakthrough. But Salvadoran church leaders are far from satisfied. Juan Vasquez reports.
Colonel Guillermo Benavides, accused of ordering the massacre, was found guilty of all 8 killings, a lieutenant guilty of 1 murder. In a country where no officer has ever been convicted of killing civilians, it was considered a legal breakthrough and a victory for the reforms of U.S.-supported President Alfredo Cristiani.
There are still some who think it should go further. I think he's trying to do all he can, but the change is remarkable and I think a very positive, constructive thing.
The Jesuit murders provoke worldwide indignation and calls for an end to American aid for a government that has been locked in a civil war with leftist guerrillas for more than 10 years. Jesuit leaders consider the verdict far from perfect because 7 soldiers were acquitted, even though 4 had confessed. They also believe the colonel who was convicted was himself only following orders.
This trial only points the finger, but it didn't reveal the truth.
The 5-member jury heard the evidence from behind a wooden divider designed to shield their identity and protect them from possible retribution by right-wing military supporters. The verdict comes at a time when hopes for peace in El Salvador have never been higher. The government and the guerrillas recently signed a groundbreaking agreement that could put an end to a civil war that has claimed more than 75,000 lives over the past decade. Juan Vasquez, CBS News, Miami.
UN nuclear inspectors left Baghdad today with a wealth of information about Iraq's nuclear weapons program. The group headed for Bahrain after giving the Iraqis an inventory of the documents. Iraqi soldiers kept the team trapped in a parking lot last week when the group refused to hand over the papers. Another group of weapons inspectors is expected to arrive in Baghdad tomorrow. President Corazon Aquino's fight to salvage the American military presence in the Philippines appears to be over. The Philippine Senate voted 2 weeks ago to reject a new treaty with the U.S. to extend the lease on the Subic Bay naval base. Aquino then called for a referendum to overturn that vote. But now she says what needs to be done is to arrange an orderly withdrawal from Subic Bay. In sports news this morning, week number 5 in the NFL is nearly complete. The Denver Broncos led the AFC's Western Division with a 4-1 mark. The Broncos won in Minnesota last night. Quarterback John Elway went 17 yards on a surprise draw to score the game's only touchdown. The Vikings have now played 10 straight quarters without a touchdown. The Bears and Bills hooked up, that is, in a match of previously unbeaten teams. Buffalo's Carwell Gardner recovered his own fumble for a score to put Buffalo up 14-6 in the third quarter. Bills quarterback Jim Kelly threw for 3 scores. One went for 77 yards to James Lofton. The Bills now find themselves looking back at the pack as the AFC's only unbeaten team. The NFC surprise team, New Orleans, also remains unbeaten. Quarterback Bobby Hebert connected with Floyd Turner on a 47-yard scoring pass to put the Saints up for good in Atlanta. That's the news at 24 minutes.